Hello, dear viewers. Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. Most of us in Karnataka know the Sharana movement which took place in the 12th century AD. It brought a lot of changes in the social, economical, cultural, and language life of people in Karnataka particular and world in general. There are so many Vachanakaras who used people's language to express their thoughts, emotions, feelings, and etc. Even they did not have the knowledge of letters, but they expressed it in words, and what they expressed was recorded by someone who knew the letter, and then it was deposited in the library full of palm leaves. So now we have so many developments in printing press and other things, especially when the digital world comes into existence. We have a lot of things, everything can be done sitting in the corner of a house. But there in the 12th century AD, the things were not that much of easy as we have today. They struggled hard for everything. And of course, Vachanakaras are not an exception to this. It was a movement against injustice, economic disparity, cultural suppression and oppression, and the controlling of education by a few interested individuals and communities. Of course, it fought against all these things and got a success in a great extent. In order to reach the people, we have so many digital medias with us. We have films, we have videos, we have TVs, and now we have mobiles. In one way or another way, we try to reach the people, and these electronic media help us to reach the people, especially mobile media. It extended the reaching of communication to the persons in need of it. So, but in the 12th century AD, that was not that much of easy. But with all those difficulties, those Vachanakaras tried. They passed from classical Kannada to commoners Kannada, that is people's Kannada. They were not confined to palaces only, but they came to the common people. And by that, they came to know the problems of them, the grievances of them, the mentality of them, and etc. They expressed what they had seen in the common people in those vachanas. That is why vachanas are even today very great importance to us. They are worldwide. Once upon a time, the upper class people looked down upon them. But now the same upper class people read them, sang them, and advertised them in their own way. It shows to what extent two Vachanakaras expressed their emotions and thoughts in the language of common people in their Vachanas. Here I would like to tell you something about Arivina Maaritande. He was a Vachanakara, lived in the circa of 1300 after Common Era, that is AD. 309 Vachanas composed by him are found, but much more may be there. But now we have only 309 Vachanas. He used the signature Sadashiva Murtilinga. Sadashiva Murtilinga. Of course, in those Vachanas, he gives importance to Guru, Linga, Jangama, Prasada, Pranodaka, Shaiva, Virashaiva, and etc. We can see a prefix before his name, that is Arivina. It means he used to make the people aware of the things properly, and by his Vachanas, he tried to awaken the people and to solve their problems and see the souls hidden in them. Of course, most of his Vachanas are riddles. Even though they are riddles, but they are packed with philosophical thoughts, they are packed with emotions and thoughts. Of course, we know much more than this regarding the life of Arivina Maaritande. Because in those days, Sharanas, that is Vachanakaras, did not give that much of importance to their personal life. They did not want to reveal their identity to others, but they revealed them in the form of Vachanas, in the form of thoughts and emotions. Now, we try to identify ourselves with this or that. So many of us fight for name and fame. But Vachanakaras, Sharanas were different from it. Even they did not care for their families. In the sense, if the family adjusted to him or to the moment, then only they were with the families. Otherwise, they went in search of peace somewhere in the society. Not to caves and etc. But in the society itself, they tried to get the salvation. In the form of meditation, in the form of expressing their thoughts and emotions, in the form of using common people's language, in the form of knowing the soul and lingam. And Arivina Maaritande is one of them. Only we have his Vachanas, but not his history of, not a history of his life. What we know very, very little. That much is left to us. Anyhow, research is to be done in so many cases of Sharanas and Vachanakaras, and Arivina Maaritande needs that research. Here, in order to show the mentality of, in order to show the powerfulness of his Vachanas, I would like to read 3 of his vachanas. If you go through them, you will see how they are powerful. Like light in stone, heat in flame, taste of juice in fruit, pleasure of the happy will, the great light is seen in true linga, the Sadashiva Murti linga. Of course, we don't see light in the stone directly, but when we beat a stone against a stone, then we can see the light. We can see the heat in the flame also. When we are near to that flame produces the heat. So heat is the part and parcel of that flame. And we can see the taste of juice in a fruit. But if we see it outsidely, we cannot feel it. But when we taste it, we see the juice, that is the taste of juice. So, light is the part of stone, heat is the part of flame, taste of juice is the part of a fruit, pleasure of the happy is the part of a will. That is pleasure of the happy will. So, the great light is seen in the true linga. Like that, we can see that light in the true linga. That true linga is very important. If you worship a linga hypocritically, you cannot see the light. It is just like a maid cooking preparing a food without the mind and effort, without the mind and soul. So that cook will not see the art of the cooking. She mechanically cook the food. She doesn't know how is it. But that is not that much of healthy. It spoils the health of the people who use that food. So like that, if you hypocritically worship linga, you cannot see the light. When you worship linga truly, then only you can feel that light, then only you can see that light. So, at the end of the vachana, he completes it with his signature, the Sadashiva Murti linga. Of course, Sadashiva Murti linga is the signature of Arivina Maaritande. Then we can go to another vachana. The body of the lamp in the mutt is small. The body of the lamp in the mutt is small, but the light fills the whole structure. See, we can see the lantern, we can see the lamp, it is small. But when it is lighted, it spreads all its light in the mutt hall or in the structure of that mutt. Physically it is small, but when light is lighted, when lamp is lighted, automatically it spreads its focus to all the areas of the mutt. That is, even the lamp is small, and the focus of its light is very great, is very wide. So, similarly, the self-light in the body illumining the organs and the soul that knows. So like that, there is a self-light in every man. That self-light illuminates the organs of our body. Of course, only soul knows it. If we have that power of knowing that soul, then only we will come to know the light in our body, in our organ. If you know the difference of the knowing soul, Sadashiva Murtilinga settles there. So, if anyone tries to see the soul in his body or in the space, then he can settle there, that is, he can be there in the Sadashiva Murtilinga. That is, one should try very truly to see the soul in his own way. It may be a kind of meditation, it may be a kind of prayer, it may be a kind of bhakti, it may be a kind of work. Of course, it may be a kind of worship, etc., etc. So, that one should try to know the soul, then only he can settle there in the soul, and that soul itself is the Sadashiva Murtilinga. Then another vachana, which is beautiful. If you let the calf to a cow that has no milk, it kicks out, but it does not feed. Very fine. If you let the calf to a cow that has no milk, it kicks, but it does not feed. One who has lost knowledge, what does he know about action? So here he gives the example of a cow. That cow doesn't have a milk. In such a situation, if you leave the calf to a cow, that cow does not feed the calf. Instead of feeding the calf, it kicks the calf. Like that, if one is lost his knowledge, what does he know about the action? That knowledge and action should be there. If you act according to your knowledge, or if you have knowledge according to your act, then only you can do something. But when you lost knowledge, how can you know the action? That is, knowledge and action are part and parcel of a space, or part and parcel of a man, or part and parcel of a society. You cannot see the one without another. So that is why knowledge is important, action is important. But if you lose the knowledge, you cannot see the action. If you lose the action, you cannot have the knowledge. Action is cow, knowledge is milk. That kicking a calf is an action of a cow. It kicks the calf because it doesn't have any milk. It is empty like empty-minded people. Empty-minded people use useless words. They try to quarrel with others for all the time, for simple silly things. So, that is the action. That is the action, worst action. Who don't have any knowledge. Action is cow, knowledge is milk. What cow does is an action. It kicks the calf because it doesn't have the cow, it doesn't have the milk. And that knowledge is the milk. If you have the knowledge, you don't quarrel with others for all the time. You can suggest, you can inform, you can say. For all these things, they don't listen to your wise words, then automatically it takes a different turn. So, desire is the calf. That calf is compared to the desire. Desire is the cause for sorrow. One should have a desire, but the desire should be a good, not a desire of damaging the fame of others, not the desire of spoiling the home atmosphere, but the desire of building a house, desire of beautifying the home, desire of connecting and stitching the human arts, but not cut the human heart. But most of us are involved in cutting the heart. We don't want to stitch it. We have to make the family members the damaged mirror. So you can stitch the cloth if it is torn, but you cannot assemble the damaged mirror. That is what we have to look into. That's what we have to take into account. So, that desire is the cause for sorrow, but there must be a good desire. That good desire should bring together the heart and mind of the people, society, etc., etc. So, if one knows the three, one is Sadashiva Murtilinga. If a person knows these three things, he himself would become, or she himself, or she herself would become a Sadashiva Murtilinga. That is action, knowledge, and desire. Of course, he indirectly refers to Guru, Linga, Jangama. Of course, most of his vachanas are in the form of riddles. I have already told you in the introduction that Arivina Maaritande's vachanas are related to the issues of Guru, Linga, Jangama, Prasada, Pranodaka, and Prasada, Pranalinga, and Shaiva and Veerashaiva, etc. So that is what we can see, these three things. So if a man has the three things properly, he would become a noble one. If a house is full of these three things, if a home is full of these three things, then only it will become a place of peace. A house, a home doesn't have these three things, then it will become a place of peace. That is what so many educated fellows in the name of education are doing this nowadays. They don't give importance to good action, best knowledge, and good desire. Desire means passion for them. Action means troubling others. And knowledge means spoiling the milk. So if you have these things, how could you develop a society? How could you ennoble the society? How could you build a peaceful home, a peaceful atmosphere at home? How could you become a real human being? So you could not become a real human being. You can become a nati or nata. If you want to become a nati or nata, it is better to do it in the stage, not at home. So that is what we have to keep in our mind. But nowadays, most of the society goes in another way. That is why we have lost peace at home. So that is what Arivina Maaritande awakens in the reader of his vachanas, the reader of his composers. So it shows to what extent Arivina Maaritande tries to set right the society in his own way. That is in his own means in the concept of sharanas, in the concept of kayaka, that is worship, in the concept of work and worship, that kayaka and kailasa. One has to make kayaka and have the kailasa. One has to make kailasa and have the kayaka. They are part and part of your life. They are inseparable. If you separate it, then you will lose something. That is, kayaka and kailasa should go together. So that is what here Arivina Maaritande expresses in his vachanas. So of course, when we read his vachanas, we feel they are riddle. But as we go on and on, we see the simplicity of vachanas and the greatness of thought of his vachanas. So, like this, there are so many vachanakaras in the language of Kannada. Of course, somewhere else in the world. That is what I have expressed my thoughts and analysis regarding Arivina Maaritande. So, dear viewers, subscribe it and share it, and see you in the next episode. Thank you. Namaskar.